Hey guys, good to see you again at Movie Frenzy. Today we're gonna be looking at the 2013 live-action adaptation of the hit anime series, Gatchaman. At first, we are shown a short animated skit that introduces us to the concept of the story. Then the opening scene introduces us to three kids playing by the beach and talking about a species known as Galactor. An overlapping narration tells us that the Galactor are an alien species that had invaded Earth and started a war ages ago. These aliens have superior shields and weapons that allowed them to take over most of the world. This led to the humans being forced to live only in certain areas to wait out their extinction. Then we see a facility under attack and a boy named Ken tries to escape from it. He is approached by a mysterious being that refers to him as a chosen one, but he activates his powers and escapes before getting captured by the Galactor army. We're in the present day now, and a team of chosen ones gets notified about an upcoming Galactor attack on ISO headquarters, where all the important scientists are located. A weapons ship attacks the city and the Galactors step out of it to breach human defenses. They're immune to the gunfire directed at them. At the headquarters, Dr. Nambu leads the discussions on Virus X. It's been proven to be the only difference between the genetic makeup of humans and Galactors. He also reveals that there's a specific kind of stone that can breach the Galactor shields and destroy Virus X. But these stones can only be wielded by a select group of chosen humans. He has recruited 4 such humans into a science ninja team. The members consist of Ken, Jinpei, Ryu, and Jun. The team visits the facility in their fighting suits and defeat the Galactor army, after which they go for the ship. Jun enters the ship to hack into its mainframe and stop it from crushing the headquarters while the others try to hold it down. But then a group of elite Galactor warriors show up and engage in an intense battle with the science ninjas. Our heroes struggle against these new warriors, but luckily, they're joined by another chosen one named Joe. He's extremely powerful and destroys one of the elite warriors with ease. The other warriors retreat as Jun just about manages to stop the ship before it can crash into the headquarters. Joe meets the team and reveals he's from the ISO Europe division. He's also known Ken for over 13 years, as they were the same kids from the flashback to the beach. The group bonds for a bit in the lab, and Jinpei reveals that his sister Jun had a thing for Ken, but got rejected. Joe confirms that this was due to his love for an old friend named Naomi. Joe meets Ken later on, and they discuss their past memories along with their current motives. Meanwhile, the lead scientist, Dr. Kirkland, comes up with an alternative solution to the Galactor army, but Dr. Nambu doesn't seem to be on board with his idea. He summons Ken to brief him on their next mission, so that they don't have to use Kirkland's solution. We learn that the leader of the Galactor army is a person named Bird Katse, who has now entered Japan for unknown reasons. Berg has a second-in-command named Iria, so the team goes after him in order to get any kind of information on Berg. However, Joe is angered by the mention of his name, and Ken tells him to focus on the mission instead. Joe and Jun go undercover in order to attend a party, and Jinpei tries to hack into the security system to get them through. After an initial hiccup, everything works out fine, and the ninjas make their way inside. Jun pesters Ken to talk about Naomi, and he reveals that she was the 3rd member of the original trio of chosen ones, including him and Joe. Unfortunately, she was killed off by Iria 5 years ago during a mission. This leads Jun to believe that Naomi was Ken's lover, but Joe interrupts them to clarify that he was the one who was dating Naomi. We're taken to a flashback where we see Joe proposing to Naomi in a bus with Ken as their witness. She says yes, and they celebrate. Back to the present time, Iria is found and arrested, but Ryu is attacked and trapped by Joe so that he can kill Iria once and for all. After a brief standoff, Ken is left with no other choice but to shoot Joe in order to save Iria for questioning. We're taken to the flashback again, and we learn that Naomi had sacrificed her own life to save Ken from getting killed by Iria and his men. However, her body was never found, and Joe had to be transferred to the European division as a result of the incident. Now, Iria is taken to headquarters and gets questioned about a secret mission called Last Suicide, but he doesn't budge. Instead, he teases Ken about Naomi and eventually reveals that the Last Suicide is Berg's plan to destroy all of Tokyo, but doesn't give any details. Then, he also reveals that he killed Dr. Kirkland's wife after interrogating her about his own Moscon program. This information angers Dr. Kirkland to go ahead and execute his battle plan, which is to have a satellite named Moscon shoot particle beams from space in order to destroy the entire Galactor army. As the ninjas contemplate their purposes and think back to the trauma they suffered as children, Joe wakes up to realize that he wasn't shot with an actual bullet. However, he doesn't appreciate Ken choosing his mission over his friends and reminds him about Naomi's sacrifice. Meanwhile, Arya breaks free and ridicules Kirkland about his Moscon plan. He kidnaps him and takes him away after trapping Jinpei and leaving him to die. Luckily, Ryu arrives at the right time to save Jinpei. Irie is stopped on his way by Joe, who wants to kill him as revenge for Naomi. Then Irie reveals that Berg was once a chosen human who was infected with Virus X. Joe doesn't believe what he says, so Iria transforms into Naomi to give him proof. She reveals that she can change her form anytime she wants, and she is the one who had been acting as the real Berg all this time. Her plan is to recruit more chosen ones, so that they can evolve into Galactors and finally be free from human control. She kisses Joe and he gets infected with Virus X. Then Naomi transforms into her costume and takes over as Berg. She ridicules Joe for being a slave to humans and teleports with Kirkland to her secret lair right after. There isn't much time to waste, so Dr. Nambu talks to Ken about his plan to deal with the situation. As he recovers, Joe begins to transform into a Galactor, but he manages to hold it off temporarily with the power of his stone. Meanwhile, Berg tells Kirkland about her plan to use Moscon against the humans and tortures him. She uses his body as a control interface for her to control the Moscon satellite and sets it up to destroy Tokyo along with other major cities of the world. Dr. Nambu has no choice but to commence the Phoenix Gold jet, but it's only in its pilot phase. The Saiyan ninjas are skeptical of this mission and argue with Ken over his dedication to the cause over their own safety. But then, Joe arrives and reminds them all that they must put their differences aside for the sake of humanity's survival. The team gets together and sets off in the jet towards the enemy base. They manage to fend off some initial gunfire and break through the island's shield, after which they infiltrate the base. They fight the Galactor army, but then an elite warrior shows up, and Ken struggles against him while the others head towards the mainframe. Joe heads in another direction and finds Berg waiting for him. They fight, but he holds himself back at first because he believes that Naomi is still alive somewhere inside her. Ken finally gains the upper hand and kills the warrior, while Jinpei tries to hack into Moscon and the others face off against the other female warrior. Joe struggles against Berg and is about to be killed, but then Ken saves him. Berg takes off her mask to surprise Ken and makes use of the distraction to fight both the ninjas at the same time. Jinpei finally manages to hack into Moscon by using Kirkland's body and stops the beams from hitting its targets one by one. But then, Kirkland regains consciousness and self-destructs before Jinpei can do the same for Tokyo. Ryu and Jun team up to kill the final warrior, but then they realize that their only means of survival is to destroy the satellite. Berg knocks down the ninjas and runs away, but Joe follows her and fights her again. Ken is badly injured now. He meets the others and after some deliberation, everyone decides to ignore Dr. Nambu's orders to retreat from the lair, which is now being flown on a collision course towards the Moscon satellite. After an intense battle, Joe loses against Berg and she tries to get him over to her side by transmitting more of the Virus X to him, thus causing him to undergo a transformation. Ken suddenly arrives and fights Berg. This time, he gains the upper hand and finally kills her, but then she turns into Naomi and taunts him. Ken gets confused, but Joe reminds him that this is not the woman he loved. Ken snaps out of it and kills her for good in a highly emotional moment. Before dying, Naomi regains control of her body and says, "I love you," to her childhood buddies one last time. The lair makes its way to the satellite and is just about to collide, so Joe asks Ken to leave him behind, as he has now become a Galactor, but Ken refuses to do so and takes him to the jet. The team faces an issue while taking off and have to resort to firing missiles in order to escape. After some very tense moments, the lair crashes into the Moscon satellite and the ninjas manage to eject the Phoenix Gold jet just in the nick of time. The mission is successful, and the ninjas celebrate with some healthy banter once they reach Earth. A post-credit scene shows Joe completing his transformation into a full-blown Galactor, thus giving up his status as a chosen human. And there you go, guys. That was Gatchaman for you. How did you like this version? And what did you think was the most different aspect when compared to the original anime series? Like, share, and subscribe if you're new around here because I'm going to be uploading more recap videos very frequently. Okay then, I'll see you in the next one.